Jans, Pat Martin, Anita Neville, and Rod Perdue. The statistic brought to us by Paper Cooley and Associates, 2003. The arts are important for personal health and well-being, having an impact on personal confidence, sense of control, social connectedness, education, and ensuring supportive physical environments. The question: what measures will your government put in place to ensure and sustain arts and culture's contribution to our community and to Canada? Denali.
So we have kind of two general ways that we would support the arts and culture in Canada. One is kind of at a program level, and the other one is related to some of the tax breaks and incentives. So I'll just speak briefly about some of the programs that we would implement. So we are very committed to increasing funding for programs and facilities for the arts and culture. And we will do this through establishing a stable base of funding, which will be a percentage of the federal budget. And ballpark, we've estimated that to be about $450 million. And that money would be specifically towards arts and cultural activities. We will also create a municipal super fund, and that will be about $900 million over the course of 3 years. And a portion of that would be used towards funding programs, as well as to help maintain some of the infrastructure and facilities that house our arts and cultural activities. And we will equalize federal funding amongst the provinces and territories, so that we will be consistent with the provinces that have the highest standards. And that's also just to make things a little bit more even in their distribution. So we want to make sure that all regions in Canada, including small communities, that often get overlooked, as well as the northern communities, will also get their fair share. And Manitoba also, we sometimes lose out a bit to Ontario and British Columbia. So in terms of individual ways that the Green Party of Canada will support arts and culture, we understand that many artists are self-employed and that many people struggle financially. So we will allow artists to have access to programs such as EI, CPP, and WCB. We will implement tax averaging, which takes into consideration that some years it can be a bit dry, and then if you're fortunate enough to win an award or a grant, then your income goes up, but then there's a little blip following because you get bumped up to a different tax bracket, and then 30 to 40% of your grant and your award is taxed away. So if you tax averaging, it would make it more of a level field over a period of 3 years. And then we will also implement income splitting for all families. And the Green Party definition of family is quite broad, so it does include same-sex couples. And we will remove the GST on arts and cultural products and provide a guaranteed livable income for all Canadians. And we will do this through revenue-neutral tax shifting, which basically, just to summarize, it taxes the things that we don't really want, such as pollution and inefficient or wasteful industry. And then we decrease the taxes on the things that we want to encourage, such as employment, creativity, and clean environment.
Thanks, Natalie, very much. Well, now move to Pat Martin.
Thank you, Dave. We have quite a comprehensive list in our platform, and I don't think time will permit me to go through them all. I would hope people would go to ndp.ca and look at some of the specifics. But if I could start with a few of the specifics in our platform. First of all, we wholeheartedly agree with Denali and the Green Party. Number one on our list is, in fact, increasing public funding for the Canada Council and implementing the tax averaging for artists and cultural workers, for all the same good reasons that Denali pointed out. A personal initiative of mine that I was working with ACTA about is that the first $50,000 of income for artists and producers and cultural workers should be tax-free altogether. That's not in our platform, but it's something I'm personally pushing in Ottawa through private members' business. Exploring the creation of a new international arts touring fund to replace the now defunct trade routes and home art programs. It is specific in our platform. Developing a pan-Canadian strategy for support to Canadian museums, historic buildings, and heritage lighthouses. Introducing tax incentives for the restoration and preservation of historic buildings. implementing Bill C-411, which seeks to amend the Federal Liens Act to allow municipalities to request government liens be removed on abandoned buildings to encourage investment. Strengthening public broadcasting with stable, long-term funding for CBC, Radio-Canada, and other public broadcasters, including their capacity to deliver superior regional production and internet services, and developing reform of the CRTC to reverse the crazy ruling regarding truthfulness. The Conservatives, just at the advent of the new Sun TV station, change the rules that there's no longer any obligation to tell the truth. What you say in public broadcasting can be an absolute fabrication, falsehood, and lie. That fits perfectly with the Grand Tax ideas that are gone to the world and want to, say whatever they want to say about people like me and Anita and the Green Party. Developing digital online cultural service to have broadened access to Canadian content. So 30 seconds. I'm sorry this is so dry, but these are specifics in our campaign plan. Developing the digital economy, half a dozen items there, and specific support to homegrown film and TV production. There's another half dozen items in there that perhaps I'll get a chance to speak to later. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Now move to Anita.
Thank you, Dave. I'm not going to recite the list, but I do want to focus on a couple of things, and I'm jumping ahead to the questions that follow. The Rebel Party is committed to doubling the dollars for the Canadian Council of the Arts. So we would make a commitment to take $360 million over the next 4 years, which I think would be a huge all kinds of creative activities. We've made a commitment to re-implement the trade route from the Arts Promo program, and I can speak to those a little bit later, but I think that those were just a devastating loss for Canada and for Canadian artists. One of the issues that's been brought to my attention very recently, and it's not written in our program, but we've had in our platform, but we've had much discussion about it, is the van that takes art around the country. It's now been privatized. My understanding is it's working at greater expense in Eastern Canada, but really not helping the artists in Western Canada, and we have to make a commitment to revisit that. I think it's really important. We also have to look at the arts in terms of the other activities that we're committing to. We're committing to a learning passport, which means that those who want to go to school and want to study arts will have an opportunity to go, with the help of the federal government, up to a potential of $6,000 a year. Some of you know me and know that I have a daughter who's an actor, and I always remember visiting her and the people she lived with. And a young actor who had graduated from the School of Theatre in Edmonton, and at that time, and it's a while ago, had a $28,000 student loan. And I thought, how is he ever going to get this paid off? So I think recognizing that there has to be some acknowledgement of the cost for learning is an important one. The other piece that we have to look at is health and the impact on health in the arts. And I've become aware, and some of you are well aware of it, the Buehler Gallery at St. Boniface Hospital. I'm told that it's having a very significant impact on the health of patients, the well-being of staff, and has been a major attraction to the outside public. We have to look at innovative ways of delivering other services that we can be doing in tandem with the arts and recognizing the impact of the arts on health, on community well-being.